You're never too busy, too tired, too old, or too anything to pursue your dreams. Welcome to the Distracted Dreamer podcast, where you'll learn how to move all those never-ending distractions aside and chase your dreams with confidence. Well, hello. It is your friend and host, Carlene, and I am so glad that you're here with me today so that we can spend some time together because it really is such an honor to spend time with you. And if you're a new listener, welcome. Welcome to the Distracted Dreamer family. And I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm particularly glad that you're listening right now to this episode today because it's kind of special. And if you know somebody who needs a little nudge and a big dose of clarity around their dreams, will you please share this episode with them? I know that they would be so grateful that you thought of them and that you cared about them to share this. Now, this episode, by the way, it's a little bit different from the normal episodes that are here on the Distracted Dreamer podcast. Because what you're listening to today, I have designed specifically as a workshop to help you rediscover your dreams and to gain the clarity and the courage to claim what you really want. Workshops are my love language. I love to design and create them because it's just a way for me to engage with you differently and do a little more and go the extra distance. And this episode is so important because I personally think that the reason why so many people feel stuck or unsatisfied or even a little lost in their life is because you don't know what your dreams are. And when you don't know what your dreams are, you don't know what direction you want to head in. And the other reason why this matters today is because if you don't know what you dream about, then you likely don't know what you value or you prioritize, or you've just simply forgotten. So getting clear about what your dreams are is the very first step to everything, really. And asking yourself, what are my dreams? It's a hard question to answer because, people can give you advice on how to make something happen or on the steps to take, but no one can answer this question for you. You have to answer this question yourself. And so I've designed this episode as a workshop to help you get laser focused on what your dreams are and what you truly want at this moment in your life. And before we jump in, I just want to set this workshop up and tell you what you can expect. Like all the workshops I create, this episode, it has a free companion workbook, and you can download it. I'm going to give you the URL for it. It's coachcarlene.com/dreamer. coachcarlene.com/dreamer. And when you go to that link, you'll be able to download the workbook. And you can also find that link in the show notes below. Honestly, it's probably easier to just go click it in the show notes below. But if you are driving right now or you're taking me on a walk with you, you do not need to hit stop and then download and come back. No. Just listen to me as you continue to drive or as you finish your workout or as you're going on your walk. And think about the answers because I'm going to guide you through 3 simple steps that will reveal your most hidden dreams. And so I want to remind you again of that URL. It's coachcarlene.com/dreamer. And Carlene, if you don't know, is spelled CARLENE. So coachcarlene, all one word, .com/dreamer. All right, I am ready to dive in. How about you? All right, let's do this. Now, what if I told you that dreaming is part of what makes you human? Absolutely true. Without dreams, your life can feel dull, or you feel disconnected from yourself, like you stay busy, but you're bored or unfulfilled. Does that sound familiar? And if you don't dream, the only direction you have in life is what you should be doing instead of what you want to be doing. And you know what? Time is going to keep passing you by. So don't you want to start moving toward your dreams? Of course you do. And that's why today's episode is something really special. Because I heard from so many of you that you stopped dreaming years ago, that you don't even know how to dream, or that you were taught that dreams are silly and to just be responsible and do what you should do. Now, this episode is going to open your eyes and it's going to surprise you. And I've designed it to help you reimagine and rediscover what your dreams are right now. So if you're feeling kind of stuck in a rut, that meh feeling, or you've got big dreams, but you're looking for confirmation that you're moving in the right direction, then this is the episode for you. If you can right now, please follow along with the workbook that you just downloaded. It's actually called Start Dreaming Again. 3 gentle steps to rediscover what you really want, with powerful AI prompts to coach you through each step. Now, hold on. I recognize that we are all in different places when it comes to AI. And maybe you're a frequent flyer on ChatGPT, or maybe you've never logged in. It's okay. Either way, I want to assure you, you are right where you're supposed to be. That being said, each of these steps allows you to do the work without AI via a journal and doing some more reflection yourself. Or you can use the prompts that I'm going to give you and put them into ChatGPT. Or you know what else you can do? You can do both, right? So you can do this however you want to do it. And what I really want you to know is I tested these prompts over and over. And I was blown away at the results I got from ChatGPT. So I designed these prompts to be your coach. It's kind of like having me there to help you see what's buried in your heart and really connect to it. And I have to tell you, when I got my results, I cried. Now, I don't want to make you cry. That's just how good it is. So if you've never used ChatGPT, I encourage you to experiment. Give it a shot. You have nothing to lose. Okay, so now that we have set the stage, let's begin. Let's dive into step 1. The first step to uncovering your dreams is you have to wake up your inner dreamer. And I want to start this part by saying something very, very clearly. You don't have to know what you want yet. You don't have to know what you want yet. The whole point is that you don't know. So let's just let that be the baseline truth for this episode. You don't have to have a 5-year plan, and you don't have to feel ready. What we're doing here is much softer than that. We're remembering. We're noticing. We're stirring something that might have been sleeping for a very long time. And this part of the guide is really about waking up your inner dreamer. And waking up, right? We know, waking up, as we all know, it can feel awkward, or it can feel disorienting, or it feels slow. And sometimes it's even irritating to wake up. But waking up also means that you're coming back to life. And that's what this is. It's a gentle coming back to life. So right now, I just want to invite you to just get quiet. Just settle for a second. Take a deep breath. Maybe place a hand on your chest or your belly if that feels grounding. Because you've been carrying a lot, probably more than most people know. And if your own dreams have taken a back seat lately, or if they've gotten real dusty or fuzzy or hidden under a million other priorities, that makes perfect sense. You're not broken, you're just tired. And tired people don't need pressure. They need permission. So I'm giving you permission to listen to the whisper inside, permission to want something again, and permission to even not know what you want and still show up to this process. All right. So here's where the magic starts. You're going to partner with a tool called ChatGPT. And you're going to fill in the blanks on the prompt. And then you're going to paste the entire prompt into ChatGPT. And if you're not going to use ChatGPT, you can literally fill in the blanks and write it in your journal. This is a different ChatGPT or AI tool than you might be used to. This isn't about productivity hacking. We're using it more like a mirror, a coach, a quiet companion who listens without judgment who can help gently reflect patterns back to you that you might not be able to see clearly yet. And the prompt that I'm going to walk you through in a second is designed to help uncover the deeper threads underneath your day-to-day life, the values, the longings, the what-ifs that have been waiting patiently for you to notice them. Now, you don't have to get it right. You just have to get honest. Because the response you get from ChatGPT is only as good and true as what you tell it. Let's go over the reflection prompt together. Again, you're going to paste this into ChatGPT after you've filled in the blanks, but don't be fooled. These blanks, these are the keys to your dreams. So each one can unlock a part of you that's been tucked away. It can unlock a long-lost dream or something that you never dared to dream before. And so this is how the prompt starts. What we're asking the robot to do, what we're asking AI is, I'm looking for help uncovering the dreams, values, or desires that may be hiding under the surface of my daily life. I'll share some honest reflections about who I am and what's been tugging at me. And then you're going to complete a few sentences. And these are not trick questions. They're breadcrumbs. They're leading you back to yourself and your dreams. And I'm going to share with you what my own inputs were, and then later on what the output was from the AI coach as we move through this. So here's how I filled in the blanks. I'm a mom, grandma, life coach, specializing in ADHD, an introvert, an empath, with a desire to help others. I've always wondered what it would be like to sleep well and not have anxiety. I've always wanted to write a book, but never thought I was good enough. I've wondered what my life would be like if I had gone into radio after college. People often come to me for help with ADHD, overwhelm, anxiety, needing a safe space to talk, making decisions about what's next for them. I feel a twinge of jealousy when I see someone more beautiful, more confident, or taking action on writing a book, or just putting themselves out there. If I had one free day with no obligations, I'd spend it getting a massage and a facial. If I could wave a magic wand and change one thing about the world, it would be for everyone to be kind. What breaks my heart about life is people don't realize they don't have forever. What pisses me off about life is it goes too fast. I've always wanted to master the skill of writing and playing the piano. I would feel more alive and energized if I was sleeping better and stopped playing small. If money weren't an issue, I'd travel to Italy and stay for 3 months. If I had 2 extra hours every day, I'd use that time to reach out to friends and family more. Okay, so the reason I shared all of that with you, I know it's a lot, like about Carlene here, but I wanted you to see that there are no right answers here. And I just want you to fill in the blanks, honestly, with whatever comes to your mind first. So after you fill in the blanks, the prompt continues, and we tell AI, keeping in mind that dreams can be big or small, tangible, or a way of being, what kinds of dreams, desires, or deeper values might be hiding in what I just shared? What patterns do you notice? What dream might be waiting for me to name it? That's the first prompt. Here are some tips before you try it. Be real. Don't try to impress the robot. This isn't a dating profile. This isn't a personal brand statement. This is you meeting yourself again. Try not to overthink it. And you know what? If an answer feels silly or it feels strange or very emotional, that's probably the one that matters the most. I'm going to warn you, you might cry, you might laugh, you might feel weird. It's all part of the waking up process. I experienced all of those things. When your AI reflection comes back to you, read it slowly and notice what jumps out. And what you want to do is you want to save the phrases that give you chills, like let it all settle. And you can come back and you can journal and look for these things. Look for a sentence that gave you chills or made you tear up. Maybe there was a word or theme that keeps showing up. Or maybe a dream you didn't expect to surface showed up. And any clarity or curiosity that you feel. And here's the cool thing. You can even run the prompt more than once. You can shift your answers. You can play with this. But I urge you to go through the entire process first and then come back to it in a couple days if you feel like you want to shift your answers, okay? Because this isn't about figuring it all out. It's about finally hearing yourself clearly. And the reason that this first step is so important is because, you know what, when you've spent years doing what needed to be done, like caring for others and paying the bills and just getting through the week, your own desires, they can start to feel kind of indulgent, right? Or maybe even impossible. Or how about irrelevant? But dreaming, it isn't selfish. It really is sacred. And this first step, this reflection, is about honoring that sacred part of you again. The part that still wants, the part that still hopes, the part that's quietly whispering, I'm still here. I still believe in something more. That's step one, my friend. It's tender, it's powerful. And you know what else? It's the part that most people skip. But you are not most people. You're showing up. And that is where everything begins. The next part of this little workshop, we're going to move into step 2, and it's called Spot the Spark. And what we're going to do is we're going to look back at your reflection, your AI output, or even just the thoughts that came up for you today, and start noticing what's tugging at your heart the most. So let's imagine for a moment that you've done the AI reflection from step 1, or maybe you've just been turning over those questions in your mind, and now you're sitting there with all the racing thoughts. And maybe a few surprising longings, and maybe 1 or 2 dreams that keep raising their hand like, hey, remember me? So this is the time to slow down and to listen really closely, because you're not trying to choose the perfect dream. You're not mapping out your whole future. You're simply noticing what's alive for you right now, what feels meaningful or energizing or true. Here is where we want to go with step 2 is I want you to start by looking back at what you wrote down or reflected on earlier in step 1. And then ask yourself these questions. Which idea gives me a sense of possibility, even if it scares me? Which dream keeps tugging at me? And what would I regret not exploring a year from now? Just let your answers come to you. Don't judge them. Because then what we're going to do is you are going to use a simple symbol key to start spotting the sparks. What you're going to do is you're going to take each dream or idea that you've noticed and give it 1 or more of these little intuitive markers. So if there's a dream or idea that makes your heart race with excitement, give it a heart. If there's a dream or idea that gives you energy just thinking about it, give it a little lightning bolt. If there's a dream or idea that keeps coming back to you over time, over and over again, put a little clock there. If there's a dream or idea that feels aligned with who you are now and who you're becoming, put a target there. And what you want to do is you want to look for those dreams or ideas that you gave 2 or more symbols to. That's your spark. That's the one saying, hey, come find me. And you know what? It might not be the most logical dream. That's okay. And it might not be the safest or most convenient. That is also okay. But it's the one that's alive. And aliveness is always worth following. Okay. Now, that's the way you do it without AI for step 2. But if you want a little extra clarity and you loved using AI in step 1, you can bring it into this step 2. So here's a bonus prompt that you can paste into ChatGPT. Literally, copy and paste. You don't even need to add anything to it. And what you are asking AI to do is you are asking, based on what I shared in step 1, help me identify 1 to 3 dreams that seem most alive and important right now. I'm looking for ideas that feel especially relevant to who I am today and who I want to become. Ones that give me energy, keep resurfacing, or make my heart race. For each dream you identify, explain why it stands out from the others, what deeper values or desires it connects to, what it might really be about under the surface, like identity, purpose, healing, impact, joy. End with a short reflection or visualization prompt to help me choose which one to explore next. So let the AI reflect back what it sees. So this is your coach looking at what it sees from the information that you gave it in step 1. Let the AI reflect back what it sees, because you might be surprised by the insights it uncovers. I know I was. And so today, instead of just telling you how to spot the spark, I also want to just walk you through the dreams that surfaced for me when I went through this process myself. Because, yep, I did the reflection. I sat with the discomfort and the longing and all the surprises. And I want to share what came up, not because your dreams will look the same, but because you might see some pieces of yourself in mine. So my AI coach came up with 3 dreams. The first one was to write the book. The second one was to live in Italy for 3 months. And the third dream was to sleep deeply and wake rested and feel free from anxiety. Now, I feel like, do we have time to go through all 3 of these? I feel like I just want to touch on all of them. Okay, so the write the book. Now, this one, it didn't surprise me because it's been with me for years. You've heard me talk about it on so many episodes. I've just been kind of carrying this around with all my some days. And when I filled out the reflection, one of the sentences I wrote was, I've always wanted to write a book, but never thought I was good enough. And when AI said that back to me, I was like, oh, it sounds so different when it's reflected back to you than when you're the one typing it in there. And it actually told me that this dream was connected to identity, healing, and voice, that it's not just the act of writing, but the becoming of a writer. It's about owning my right to take up space. It's about letting myself be seen, not just as a helper or a coach or a doer, but as a full creative being. And I was like, wow, okay, so this isn't just about me writing a book, right? This isn't about just sitting down and writing the book. It's so much more. And it gave me this reflection question. It said, imagine holding your finished book. Whose face comes to mind when you think about the impact it could make? Dang, when I read that, I actually teared up because I thought of someone younger, maybe a past version of me, or someone out there still carrying their own dream really, or maybe someone out there carrying their dream quietly. And I imagined what it would mean to finally let this part of me live. So that's a spark. And it's loaded with old stories, but it's honest, and it does feel alive for me. So the second dream it uncovered was me living in Italy for 3 months. And I wrote, if money weren't an issue, I'd travel to Italy and live there for 3 months. And I meant it. Like, I could see the cobblestone streets, the open food markets, the crystal blue water. And most of all, I could feel the ease. And what my AI coach told me is this dream isn't just about travel. It's about reinvention. It's about slowing down. It's about living differently. It's about untangling from the grind and the guilt and the constant go. And it said what it might really be about is letting pleasure be a valid reason for doing something. Oh my gosh. I feel like I know I never do anything just for the pleasure of it. So that hit me. And it's also about feeling at home, not just in a place, but in myself. And then AI gave me a reflection prompt and asked me, what version of you is waiting in that villa? Writing in a journal with nowhere to be? How would she move differently through the rest of her life? And that one gave me chills, because I so want to be that version of myself. So going to Italy isn't just about going to Italy. It's about finding a home in myself. And that was just wow. Wow. Okay. Dream number 3. This one, I didn't know this was a dream, and this doesn't, I don't know, it's just less sparkly. So dream number 3, to sleep deeply, wake rested, and feel free from anxiety. When I started my reflection, one of the first things I said was, I've always wondered what it would be like to sleep well and not have anxiety. That's very true. I've never been a good sleeper, and I've always had anxiety. But it didn't feel like a dream in the traditional sense. But now I see that it's something that I really long for very deeply. And the reflection, it helped me see it more clearly, that my AI coach said, this dream is about healing and recovery. It's about letting myself stop striving and finally exhale. It's about feeling rested and trusting my body and letting go of the push. And then my coach asked me, what if peace was not something to earn, but something to allow? What would you stop doing or start saying no to if your number one priority became protecting your peace? And yeah, that one hit hard, because that dream, it doesn't sound glamorous, but it feels really foundational. And maybe that's the spark that lets all these other dreams grow. And I've actually taken some steps on this dream because this one surprised me. And I realized it is a foundational dream. And I feel like everything else will fall into place once I figure this out. And I'm really excited to go on this journey and figure it out. So this is how we return to dreaming. There's not a blueprint. There's not a perfect plan. It's a spark. It's a whisper. It's a quiet yes. And you know what? I know I just said that I've already started doing something about that third dream, but I want you to know there's no goal setting to be done. In the third step, we'll talk about how to stay close to that dream without pressure or a 10-point plan. You've named something. You've looked it in the eye, and you've uncovered the spark of a dream that matters to you. Not because it's flashy or not because it fits someone else's timeline, but because it made your heart stir. And that's enough to begin. So now the question becomes, how do you keep that spark alive? How do you stay close to that dream? Not just when it's exciting, but when life gets loud again. That's what step 3 is all about, staying close to your dream. So we are not shifting into go mode. We are not setting goals. We are not building a 90-day plan with color-coded spreadsheets, unless that's your love language. And even then, not yet. So this is much simpler and deeper. It's about staying in relationship with the dream you just uncovered. Not by doing a lot, but by listening more. Not by pushing, but by protecting. Because here's the truth. Your dream, especially one that's been buried or bruised, it needs time. It needs trust. It needs to know that you're not going to abandon it again. So, how are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to give you 2 simple practices, 2 tiny rituals really, that help you stay connected to your dream without pressure, no perfectionism. And the first one is called 5 dreams a day. So every morning, maybe while you're drinking your coffee or staring out the window, write down 5 dreams. Like just 5 dreams. That's it. You do not need to overthink this. There's no editing. There's no judging. You can write down big ones, silly ones. You can repeat them every day. It doesn't matter. Here are some dreams that you could possibly write down. I want to feel rested when I wake up. Or I want to host a dinner party where no one wants to leave. Or I want to write a children's book. Or I want to take a solo trip with no itinerary. Or I want to feel peaceful in my body again. So those are just examples. But every day, I just want you to write down 5 dreams. You can repeat them over and over again. And here's why this works. Because when you name your desires regularly, your brain starts to prioritize them. It's a thing called the Zeigarnik effect. Your mind holds on to the things you haven't finished or claimed yet. When you keep writing down your dreams, your subconscious starts quietly looking for ways to make room for them. You don't even have to take action yet. Just keep naming what you want, and it's like a trail of breadcrumbs. It's like a conversation you're continuing every single morning. This second practice that you can do is called the Don't Do Discovery List. Now, this is for those days when you feel cloudy and you're stuck, like you don't even know what you want anymore. So here's what you can do. You can draw a line down the center of a piece of paper, and on the left side, write down what you don't want. And on the right side, write down what you might want instead of that. Okay, so here's an example. I don't want to feel exhausted by 3 p.m. every day. On the right side, I do want instead to build in slow mornings with no calls. How about I don't want to dread my inbox. Oh, yeah. On the right side, you would write, I do want instead to feel excited about my work again. Sometimes clarity, it doesn't come from this big grand vision. It comes from that contrast. So by naming what you don't want or what you're tired of, you're going to start discovering what you are craving, what you do want. So those are your 3 steps. Those are your 3 steps to start dreaming again. And you know what? You don't have to make a big move to stay close to your dream. You just have to keep showing up to it. It can just be humming in the background of your life while you're walking the dog and doing the laundry and all the things that you're doing. The dream isn't a demand. It's just an invitation. And the more you stay near it, the more it's going to reveal what it needs from you. Now, that's not to say that if you feel ready, because you might, because sometimes when you get this clarity, it leads to energy. And that's what I felt with that third dream when it came to my sleep and anxiety. I was like, oh, wow, I really want to do something about this now. Use that energy, use that excitement. You don't have to ignore it, but you also don't need a 12-week plan. You just need one small, kind, doable step. And that might look like texting a friend and saying, hey, I think I want to try writing again. Or maybe it's you setting aside 30 minutes on your calendar just for some dream time. Or maybe it's reopening an old document on your desktop and giving it a title. Or maybe it's walking through a bookstore and seeing what catches your attention. Or maybe it's looking up the flights to Florence. Like, even if you don't book a thing, sometimes it's just these tiny actions that can rewire how you see yourself. But also, you don't have to take a step yet. You are allowed to just be with your dream for now. Because tending to the dream, that's enough. And noticing is enough. And I also want you to know that you are enough. Here's what I hope that you take from this today. You do not need a finish line. You just need a little flicker. And you don't have to shout your dream from the rooftops right now. You just have to whisper it to yourself every morning. And remember, this is not starting over. You're coming home to yourself and to your dreams. If this workshop stirred something inside of you, even just one spark, I'd love to hear what that spark is. Leave me a text at the link in the show notes below this episode. And for now, stay close to the dream. Protect it. Play with it. Let it shape the way you move through your days. You've remembered something beautiful, so don't rush past it. Keep dreaming. All right, my sweet friend. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And remember, your dreams, they are waiting for you. And your time, it's now. And I'll be back next week, ready to welcome you to our next conversation. Oh, and one more thing. This is the legal language. You know, the stuff that the lawyers put together, and they say that I need to read this to you. So here we go. This podcast is presented solely for educational and entertainment purposes. I'm just your friend. I'm not a licensed therapist. This podcast is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professionals. Got it? Good. I will see you in the next episode.